Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Baka podcast.
Baka.
It's amazing how every time you open your mouth, you prove you're an idiot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a minisode of Baka. We're here, you're here. We're going to talk about anime stuff that we want to talk about. Usually we talk about an anime we watched every 2 weeks. This week we don't. We talk about every topic off the top of our head. And we're actually talking about an anime this week, so get what I just said. No, I'll explain in a minute. Let me introduce my co-host. First off, we have the Moomin Rider to my Class C, Jeremy. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm learning how to use these mics.
You're doing a great job. What you been up to?
I have been doing just schoolwork. This is like finals week and so many papers. So yeah, very busy. But we're going to oh no. Shoot.
You already went to Avengers.
Yeah, we went to Avengers and I loved it, I'm sure.
That was convincing.
Yep.
Well, I read the scores. It's like they're almost the same between the audience and the critics. So I got high hopes.
Unlike other movies.
That's right.
Don't even start, you two. We also have the Genos to my Class S, Jason.
That's actually a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's not the worst in Class S, is he? Or is he? Is he the worst?
No, he's not the worst in Class S.
Okay.
He's just the one who gets defeated every episode.
Not every episode. I mean, he did win against the gorilla.
That's true.
Boom.
How are you, Jason? What you been up to?
I am so sore. I have been working out. And it's funny because my son, only one of my 3 sons, is doing it with me. He really wants to keep me on track. And this past Wednesday, we had to skip for field trip reasons. And so this weekend he's like, hey, we're gonna do the thing, right? And I'm like, it's a skip day today according to the schedule. He's like, yeah, but we already had skip day, so let's go to
No. Everything off of the pattern track rails.
right. I gotta stay on track.
Yeah.
So I found out I'm not good at ab workouts at the moment. Oh man, sore. Anyways, I am very sore.
Well, good
but
for you.
Excited to talk about this minisode.
Good for you for joining the Body Improvement Club.
Fight on, fight.
How is our Captain Marvel to the Avengers? Troy?
Nice.
We're talking about Shazam, though. The real Captain Marvel.
So not as interesting, not going to make as much money?
Oh, but wait.
No, I really want to see Shazam.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm actually excited for Black Widow, but that's because I'm infatuated with Scarlett Johansson. But anyways,
who isn't?
Getting her own?
yeah, she's getting her own movie.
Get her own movie.
Oh.
But seriously, who's not?
Yeah.
Okay, but you want to know what I've been doing? Can I?
Really?
All
No,
right.
Troy, what have you been up to?
I finally bought on sale God of War for PlayStation 4, and I've been getting to play it.
Is it the first one or the new one?
Is the new
What?
one. It is fantastic storytelling, and I absolutely love the story. And this game has 0 cuts. Like, the camera never cuts. There's no loading screens. It's just continuous gameplay forever. The transition between story and gameplay is just the camera, like, it might rotate around the characters and then come back into the default position for when the gameplay starts again. But you never, like, go to the next level. You just keep going, and it's really hard to know when to stop. I am loving the story. I am horrible at the combat because it's much more Dark Soulsy inspired than God of War's ever been. I've played old God of Wars. They felt much more like Devil May Cry combat. Like, let's just go ham and destroy 100 guys. And this is like, you gotta know when to parry, when to block, when to use which abilities, and think out your combat a little more. And health matters, and pay attention to little guys too. And
Some of those finishing moves, am I right?
oh my goodness.
How many dad jokes have you come across so far?
Dad jokes. I just finished with the Dark Elves and Light Elves battle. So I don't know. Even though my children keep walking in like, this guy's a horrible father. I'm like, yeah.
I'm trying to make him a better one.
Yeah.
I'm playing this.
My favorite part was when I turned on the game. My kids walked in like, well, what's the story of God of War? I'm like, well, he killed and screwed everything in the Greek pantheon, so now he's in this pantheon, Norse mythology, and he's just probably going to do the same.
So are the kill moves as bad? Like, I mean, I remember I watched a playthrough of the first one and the second one, and oh my god, did they rank up there the same, or did they make it a little bit less crazy?
I haven't seen anything quite like the God of War 3 rip the head slowly off a god and then use his head as a flashlight for the rest of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen that, but there has been like neck snapping and pulling horns off of things and jamming it into its own throat.
Or the werewolf where you grab the jaw and then just rip their entire front off.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's fun.
No, there's a scene where he's going up an elevator. He's like, I'm afraid of elevators. I'm taking steps to avoid them.
Oh my god, what a oh my god.
But
that's actually pretty good.
But I have to, like I said, I'm bad at the combat, but the game is fantastic. I'm just not fantastic at it. But the story is keeping me going.
Nice.
All right. So, Minisode topic. What are we here to talk about? We are here to talk about One Punch Season 1. Why are we talking right now about One Punch Man Season 1? That's because we want to watch One Punch Man Season 2 in the future, and it's a little too late to go back and talk about watch Season 1 for our main show. We've all seen it. Everyone's talked about it to death, so we just thought we'd throw our hats in the ring, offer our 2 cents, and then kind of feel like we can pick One Punch Man Season 2 to watch whenever you want. Just so everyone knows, I've seen the first 2 episodes of One Punch Man Season 2. I will not give any spoilers, but I probably will give a little bit of an assessment on what I think of those. But back to the topic at hand. One Punch Man Season 1. Where do you guys want to start?
I have a confession to make.
Spoilers, by the way. Spoilers for One Punch Man Season 1.
Yeah, lots of spoilers. Until last week, I had not seen the whole thing.
You've talked about it so much.
I know, because I've seen
I've
seen so many scenes, and I know what the story's about, but I never, like, episode 1 to episode 12.
I watch it like 3 times a year.
Oh my goodness. Well, that means it's going to be really fresh in your mind.
It is fantastically fresh in my mind. And also, even though basically I spoiled a ton of content for myself, every time I saw that content that I had already seen, it almost felt fresh just because of all the new context. But I think one of my favorite scenes in the first half of the anime is we get this scene of Saitama walking away from the camera with, a bag full of groceries in his hand. And he's pontificating that, oh, man, if I had taken the wrong step, I could have been the bad guy. And I thought that was really profound for a comedy / play on the superhero genre. And also, it seems like, I'm not sure which one came out first, but it seems like one was inspired by the other as far as like hero tropes with My Hero Academia. There was a lot of parallels.
I'm pretty sure One Punch Man is older now. So One Punch Man is made by the artist. Please correct me in the comments, people, if I'm wrong about that. He made a webcomic. He is not a great illustrator, so his webcomic looks like it was like drawn on a napkin. But his storytelling is fantastic. And then the manga came along after, and then now the anime. And it's the same thing for Mob Psycho. So Mob Psycho and One Punch Man made by the same guy originally as webcomics.
But yeah, I thought the whole thing was fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy, what are your overall thoughts of One Punch Man?
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I watched it so long ago that I don't remember a lot of the details. So I watched a 5-minute IGN recap. it helped, but I still don't remember a lot of the details. I remembered most of what they recapped, though. Like, they were the major points and big fights and stuff, like Sea King. But I just remember really enjoying it. I really liked the fight scenes. I liked the power trip, the power fantasy, and the comedy. And yeah, just very general on my part, but it was great.
Well, obviously, I mean, I've made my thoughts clear. I love it. I watch it multiple times a year. I like it in sub. I like it in dub. I think both are fantastic and worth watching. Yeah, I think it's great. I absolutely love the Sea King arc. Sometimes I watch just that Moomin Rider's ending when he throws his bike at Sea King and I have to defeat you. And then, just Saitama just walks up. I'll never not think it's funny that Saitama wears a sweatshirt that says Opie for boobs and it has an outline of boobs on it. That's just amazing. That's just such a amazing detail for no reason.
Yeah.
I adore One Punch Man, and I've always said Full Metal Alchemist is my favorite anime, but One Punch Man is right there.
Nice.
So let's talk about favorite character then.
Saitama.
I love, so it's a tie, I think, between Genos and Moomin Rider. I love Moomin Rider for his determination and his ideals, but I love Genos as a character just because of it. Honestly, he's limited by his body, and he's attempting to continue to train his body as if it was still human, until Saitama is like grasping at straws for some sort of wisdom he can give him. It's like, you don't have a real body, so you should train your mind. And that actually ends up being fantastic advice for Genos. But I thought his character arc, his character growth, also he's a hilarious character in Saitama's life context. Yeah, I really enjoyed watching him.
I have a special place in my heart for Puri Prisoner, just because the implication of what he does to bad guys he catches. Or heroes he catches.
I'm not sure he's a good guy.
I'm not sure he's a good guy. He tries. Sonic is great.
Oh yeah,
Speedo Sonic.
Awesome. Yes, I remember really, really getting a kick out of that character.
Yeah, he's still around in season 2, and he's still fantastic, or at least first episodes. Yeah, I mean, okay, so favorite fight.
It's funny you mentioned you go back and watch certain scenes or watch the whole thing 3 times a year. I consistently, probably once every other month, will watch the spar between Genos and Saitama. I think mostly because it's one of the best technically done fights as far as camera work and choreography. And also the animation is just beautiful. But the thing that hits me at the end every time is Genos' realization of just how outclassed he is by Saitama. And that no matter all the firepower he has, there's that moment where he's winding up his death punch and that realization of it is over. There is literally nothing I can do at this moment. We're done. And that's before he sees the damage behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't remember many of the fights very well, but the IGN recap had the mosquito thing in it, and I remember that now, and that was great. I love the fact that he just slapped her.
Are you just picking the one with the boobs?
I'm picking the one with the boobs.
Fair enough.
Also, he's like naked when he does that one, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Well, because Genos lit everything on fire.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Honestly, Boros is really hard to top. And I love you've just released me at full power. Okay. But the first episode, Mole Man Dream Battle, is pretty great.
Yeah.
I don't think it gives as much kudos as it should, because it's the one fight Saitama actually gets to fight, like really fight. We get to see him go full action because it's not real. And I absolutely love that whole fight. And then he wakes up and the moment are like 3 guys. Oh no, run away!
I remember when I saw that fight, I was wondering what's going on. This show isn't what I was led to believe it was. Why is he having any difficulty at all? I was really kind of a little bit frustrated because I expected him to dispense with them in one punch, and yeah, it confused me.
Yeah.
I love the names of his punches, by the way.
Yeah.
Normal consecutive punches.
Serious punch. What are your guys' thoughts on the studio change for season 2? Are you worried about it? You've seen the trailer, right? I think
it's stiff is the best term I can come up with. So there's a couple of thoughts. It's kind of like with food, right? Presentation, it can only get you so far. What really matters is taste. So once you ingest it, is it pleasing? So that's going to be the determining factor for me is the storytelling still there? Can they deliver a decent product no matter what it looks like? Because I think we've given passes on pretty terribly animated anime in the past, but good story. And my worry is that this is such a popular anime and such a great IP that the business side was like, well, it really doesn't matter what we do with the second season. It's going to make money. If that's the case, then depending on the talent, this could tank, and that would be really sad for this particular IP. But again, I mean, we play video games that are pixelated art to go back to games that looked like they were being played on DOS, and we call them amazing and great storytelling, and I get into it. So the bar was set really, really high with season 1, like really, really high. So yeah, it'll stink not to see that great animation. But again, for me, it's going to boil down to the story.
So I'm going to reveal a little bit of my ignorance here, but just how much freedom does the studio have over the writing? Is it simply the adaptation that they have control over, or is there nothing?
Right. So the story wouldn't change. What's going to change is how they present the story. How much money do they draw with it? What kind of art style are they using? All that stuff would be up to the studio.
But the script doesn't change at all.
Yeah, the story and the adaptation would be basically the same.
Okay. Yeah, then I agree. If they still have the same quality of writing, it's going to be interesting to see if they can pick the right angles and the right frames, the way they want to animate it. Even if, like you were saying about the stiffness of the frame and whatnot, or not the stiffness of the frame, but the stiffness of the characters and just the art style in general not being as high a quality. I think the thing that I'm concerned about as far as art goes is the choice of framing the shots and where they choose to linger and things like that, because that can really change the flavor of what the story is trying to tell you. But if they can execute on that, then I don't mind too much if the animation isn't as great.
So my impression of the first episode, a little bit the second episode, but really I came up with this after watching the first one. The story so far I thought was up to snuff. I'm still super into what's going on. The characters they revealed, the twists they've already had, I'm into it. There's definitely a loss in movement and fluidity of the combat action scenes. For instance, there's like a thing where Genos jumps away And instead of showing Geno's jump, he's just framed in the middle of the frame, and then like lasers are kind of going around him, but he doesn't move in the frame at all. And it's like it really lost that feel of rapid movement that it had. Will that ruin it? It'll feel less, especially like after watching Mob Psycho and seeing like how amazing they did. And that was the same studio who did One Punch Man 1. But, you know, business decisions are business decisions, and I'm enough of a fan to want to see what's going on. But I've always felt like One Punch Man season 1 was perfect. And if they do mess it up, I'll regret it and be like, you could have just stopped. It was perfect where it was. Yeah. I was perfectly happy with how the first season ended. I could have just kept watching it 3 times a year for the rest of my life and been okay.
That actually, now that you mentioned that ending scene where he looks so disappointed that he's back to one punch. It's just just such a great ending, right? Because that's his plot. Is like, no.
Yep. All right, guys. One last thought. Give us something else about One Punch Man. Your personal experience with it. One of your favorite things. Random thought on it. Whatever you want.
I actually really appreciated all the videos that are done on his speed from the Earth to the moon and then back.
God, I remember that debate we had on.
I think that's an interesting concept, and it was something you don't really see, like with the punch from Nomu versus All Might. He hits him into nearly the stratosphere, but then we have 2 characters where he gets kneed and then punched all the way to the moon within like a half a second. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I've always been really intrigued by the supporting cast of heroes. So many of them seem silly, and I love that about them. Like Golden Ball as a name.
The guy with the baseball bat I love. Like, my power is just I hit things with a baseball bat.
Right. Like, and
I'm S-class because of it.
Yeah. And I just love that. And I really am looking forward to seeing a bit more elaboration on those characters. I want to find out more about who they are. And, I think there's a lot of potential to be mined out about this entire world. They did a good job of getting me interested in these silly support characters.
One of my favorite things is the flashback to Saitama before he's a hero and how he's depressed with his job. How he hates what he's doing, and he's just completely bored. And then we come back to him as a superhero, where he's depressed with his job. He's completely super bored. And it's like, I think it's you, dude. But also, when he tears the crab meat out of the bad guy is really disgusting. That's just always gross. Okay, so we've done it. We have put down our thoughts on One Punch Man Season 1. We now feel liberated to move forward when we choose to watch Season 2 and even do it on this podcast if we want to. We are currently watching
Promised Neverland.
The Promised Neverland. I couldn't remember the name. I just keep going to Neverland.
You were just trying to forget it because it's so traumatizing.
So traumatizing. No, I'm gonna never forget this one.
Etched on your psyche now.
I do want to give, again, mature content warning for it. There is child death in it. It's a horror story. Please know that going in. If that's not age appropriate for you, or you watch with family, please, you don't have to follow us. You can, there's other podcasts too. Just come back the week after. It'll be fine. With that said, if you have thoughts on One Punch Man Season 1, and who doesn't at this point, come on. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. What are you doing? What are you doing listening to anime podcasts, but you've never stopped and watched One Punch Man Season 1, Jason?
I mean, kind of say.
Imagine if you were hosting one and never watched it.
I don't need this kind of abuse from you.
If you have comments, you can reach us on Twitter at Baka Podcast, or email the animebakaclub@gmail.com, or leave a comment wherever you found this episode, and we will get back to you. With that said, it's time for us to go, because we are all very tired because we recorded this very late at night.
So please like and subscribe. And thanks for listening.
Bro fist punch.
Sayonara.